So, 2 more power stars to go, and only 2 more missions to go until something will able to be happening, assuming if, Mario, don't you ever dare go back to sleep. You know, you still almost got like about, 2 stars to go, so let me tell you something. Get up already, god darn it, Italian plumber! Anyways though, so, hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I am Duffy Duck here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Nintendo Wii/Nintendo Wii U eShop download. So, last time we did manage to able to continue exploring through World S and able to actually explore through Stone Cyclone Galaxy, as well as from that though we actually did manage to first time visiting Boss Blitz Galaxy as well as Flip Out Galaxy. So even then, and able to actually gather some more of those power stars along the way. Sadly though in the last video, the reason why we haven't collected so much in terms of power stars on the last video is because, well, I'm gonna save the final 2 power stars, including that specific reward if you manage to reach up to like 120 power star marking, which I probably should save that until today, which is on Friday. So even then though, I just want to point things out for this point. So even then though, yeah, today for this episode is the fact that, well, we're might as well able to conclude World S from now on though, because now we need to deal with the final 2 regular missions from now on, which there are the Prankster Comets for both Boss Blitz Galaxy as well as Flip Out Galaxy until later on. So even then, of course, to start things off, which is of course Boss Blitz Galaxy's, Prankster Comets, and then basically in this one, we need to beat all 5 bosses again, but this time we have a time limit. So even then though, and to make things a little bit more simple than ever will be, and that was the fact that you have to do this mission within 1 sitting. So even then though, because this particular mission doesn't have any checkpoints whatsoever, and truth be told for this point folks, much like the forms of how it does in the original game, we are basically done with the actual usage of the start bits requirements until, later on though, throughout the majority of this Let's Play though, until September, because even then though, I'm might as well able to point things out for that specific noting for, so even then though, we're might as well able to actually concentrate on this mission right now. So even then though, although we still can't get some of the start bits until likely for, some of these, extra lives grinding until later on though, but either way though, let's just, get on with the actual mission itself, shall we? So even then though, basically it plays out exactly like the same exact mission as you normally do from the normal mission, but the biggest difference is, as I said before, we do have a time limit, but if you do somehow die onto that particular boss, or in this case, in any bosses for that matter, you have to go all the way back to Dino Piranha, which doesn't bother me too much about it, because since I've already experienced the original game before, so at least even though it just makes everything else in this particular stage tons more easier, especially noticeable with your life mushroom that you've got. So, but either way though, we'll deal with the forms of that specific bosses again, so even though to be expected at this point. So yeah, today's day is the forms of the 16th of August in 2019, so even though we've only got about 4 more days to go, specifically for the Gamescom 2019. So even though, still looking forward to that specific stuff of what they gonna announce some of these new stuff of certain games coming out for 2019, like, Luigi's Mansion 3, and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remake, and especially noticeable for most notably Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 for the Nintendo Switch, but not the arcade version though until next year though, because I know for the fact that, oh wow, that was a really bad mistake. Although luckily for me though, you don't have to deal with this boss fight within just only 1 unit of health left or anything like that, which is a kind of a good thing I suppose. So anyways, let's go ahead and deal with Major Barrows for, I would say, the second time so far in this game though. So even then though, that's to be expected at this point. So even then though, and yeah, because not to mention for this particular mission, not only does not it doesn't contain the actual checkpoint flag, but it's also the fact that it doesn't seem to have the actual Hungry Luma shop. So even then though, because that will be the final time we're going to be like doing that, well actually kind of thinking about it, I think this might be potentially have to be the last time we're going to be doing with the actual speedrun comets, because even then though, until later on though, well, I'm not going to explain things too much specific stuff until at this point after we're done with this mission first. So even then, we'll get this thing to it with Boulder Gust, as you can see right there. We're about to be able to, you know, fight against with him for a second time in this game though. In fact, kind of think about it, this will actually be the definition of the final time we're going to be able to not only fight against with Boulder Gust, or in this case Boulder Gust, if I have to say for this matter, but it's also the fact that we're able to see, well, this is actually the final time we're going to be seeing, well, Boulder Gust himself from the likes of the actual Let's Play channels and stuff. So even then though, because of this though, now you remember in the original game though, you have to twice for both Mario and Luigi simultaneously or retrospectively. And then this time around though, we need to be able to do with him twice for the sake of this game potentially. So even then though, although the biggest difference is now that we can't able to actually play or replay the game twice to able to actually see you know, the true ending of the game and stuff like that for both Mario and Luigi, although we technically do in Super Mario 3D Land and stuff. But hey, at least on the plus note, I just don't think that particular system doesn't bother me as much. But either way though, we'll take him down as much as we could, even though, sadly to say, we almost seem to like wasting time on that part, because, well, the trickiest part about, like, beating this guy very, very fast and quick is the fact that sometimes you always attempt to send out some random colors with those little rocks, which either way though, sometimes they always, majority of the time, he always attempts to send out some normal grey ones, which doesn't do anything at all, and sometimes black, or other times though yellow. So even then though, that might be the only pace-breaking part on that particular boss fight, I feel like, but at the end of the day though, say farewell to the forms of Boulder Gust, from the forms of not only for the original game, but also the sequel for that as well, even though this will be the final time we're going to be fighting against with him, because, well, until later on though, well, we're able to actually meet up with him again. But this is true, like, more accurately, the definition of the final time we're going to be seeing, you know, the fiery Dino Piranha. In fact, we've only got about a minute to able to actually beat him up. But even then, I'm sure enough we've got enough time for able to actually beat the crap out of him before at the very end. So let's do this thing. So, as far as news announcements and all that stuff, not much else to really say about this, I'm afraid, apart from the fact that, well, for North American version on, well, as far as what I did manage able to say accidentally about the fact that recently that Angry Birds 2 movie did manage to came out in North America and during Friday, but it turns out I was wrong, because I believe it did manage to came out on the 13th of August. So even then though, because I haven't seen that much reviews and receptions to that film so far, because, well, I know for the fact that it's a little bit too early to able to actually mention about that kinds of stuff. But even then, though, as far as I've sort of heard about this, and that was the fact that they did manage to improve upon the first film handles, because I'm just not a big fan of the forms of, like, well, as I mentioned to you before countless amount of times, I'm probably not going to see it on the cinema screen just because, well, for one thing, I'm not exactly a huge Angry Birds fanatic or something like that. Well, I used to back on the Xbox 360 / the Wii U, but every now and then, especially noticeable, I kind of like move on to the different franchise at this point, like Castlevania, the Legend of Zelda series, and even the Metroid series as a result of this matter, and even the forms of the Kirby series, not to mention. And aside from that though, well, I'm still usually a huge fan of the forms of the Mario and Sonic stuff, as well as the forms of the Mega Man series, not to mention, specifically the classical Mega Man gameplay styles and all that stuff. The only exception is, you know, Mega Man and Bass for the Game Boy Advance, because that game is already hard enough as it is, so even then, though, let's just, you know, pointing to at this point. So even then, though, as you can see on screen right now, we're about to be revisiting back to the forms of Flip Out Galaxy for the second time, and this time we are doing probably the hardest Comet mission in the whole entire game, at least the second hardest, which is specifically the Cosmic Clone Wall Jumpers, which by all means by that, well, basically we have to go over the exactly same ordeal as the forms of how it does it from normal mission, but this time we have ourselves these Cosmic Clones. So even though that, I think this might be potentially be like, not exactly the final time we're going to be seeing those Cosmic Clones for the time being, but for the majority of the actual Cosmic Clone missions, it will be the definition of the final mission of that specific Cosmic Clone and such. So it's a good thing that we managed to able to actually go for this for last, because, well, you know how it is, where basically I think this is where we come to the point where we actually come across into a dead end. in Waldes at the moment, because as soon as we're able to completely done with this though, well, I don't think there's that much to deal with though. Well, at least until later on though, as I said before. Well, we're not going to explain things too much detail specific though, as I said before, because it will actually contain some spoiler elements to the mix, so... But anyway though, so let's go ahead and just go get the checkpoint right there. The good thing about this level, or this mission rather, this particular mission does have checkpoints. So every time you like keep on failing for that kinds of stuff, I would say, well, as you can see on screen right there, I seem to have a hard time on that ending sequence right there. Because, well, it's not so bad in the beginning though, if you're trying to figure out the actual like wall shifting between color by color. But I will say is that the ending portion was actually the hardest of the forms of, or the hardest part of this mission, because for the love of God, they always attempt to able to outright kill me. Like, for instance, you know, with these cosmic clones I mentioned earlier, well, because, you know, you need to deal with that specifically on that one particular point I was going to be on about, and that is this part. Because no matter what though, how many times I was going to able to actually carefully time my wall jumping skills or what have you, but sometimes I always gonna get knocked back by not only by the forms of the cosmic clones, but also you're able to actually plummet me down to the bottomless pit down below. Although the good thing about this is the fact that, well, you know, this will actually be the final time we're getting chased by the forms of those cosmic clones, in one of those missions anyway though, because until later on though, until September, then I'll probably should explain more details onto that when September is up. So, even then, let's try this one again. And, oh, may look like, I failed it again. It's always this part right there that just gives me a lot of trouble sometimes. I think this is most notably because the actual timing with that specific wall jump pressing button you have to go for, you need to be super damn accurate if you really want to, like, you know, just trying to live and stuff. Oh, crap. Oh, God. I get owned by spikes. But anyways though, so even then we'll keep on moving, and well, it's a good thing you can able to actually farm more of those star bits, but at this point in time for this point folks, we're basically pretty much done with the star bits grinding, so even then though, yeah, I'm just getting sick of like getting die on that exactly the same location as Steve Forms About does it previously. So yeah, definitely the hardest part about this mission though, because, well, you know, with that ending portion as I showed to you before, well, you guys seriously gonna get owned a lot, specifically for cosmic clone patterns, and obviously because the cosmic clones are trying to, you know, purposely trying to copy your movesets and all that stuff. But most of the time though, if you really want to be cautious with those particular guys like this, and, why do I, good lord, what's wrong with me today? Seriously, we're gonna drain a lot of those lives super fast and all that stuff, because that's the reason why about the fact that in the beginning portion of Mario Galaxy 2 won't be so tough, but until later on though, especially in this mission in particular, it just gets super insanely difficult when it comes to like, although the good thing about this though is that unlike in the Alonso how it does it in Mario Squared Galaxy, as well as Stone Cyclone Galaxy, and hell, even with the forms of you know, Twisty Trials Galaxy kind of thing about it, and next thing you know is that oh jeez, I'm just getting wrecked, you see, right there, because I have no idea how on earth do I able to actually supposedly able to bypass that specific cosmic clone right here. But, oh well, we'll give this one last try, but even then, I'm probably not gonna do some jump cuts for this point, because, well, I just want to show you how much painful I have to able to actually just go through. Well, it's not so bad of the mission itself, but it's just that the very end portion right there always gives me some trouble, because, well, sometimes I always attempt to get hit like that, especially noticeable where excuse me, and because sometimes I wasn't exactly particularly accurate with all this you know, accurate jumps and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a harder mission of the game, because, well, I would say the second hardest, but the first hardest mission on the other hand though, well, that'll be at the very end of the Let's Play, because let me tell you right off the bat though, I'm sure many people already know what I'm going to talk about, so there we go, now we managed to able to bypass for that. And I think it did took me about a couple of tries to able to actually bypass this part because of that ending sequence. But when you're trying to figure it out though, you wouldn't do that so badly. Well, at least as far as it's not too hard to begin with, but still. Even though if the actual ending portion were able to actually just to get, you know, super accurate with all these little wall jumps and stuff. And believe it or not, we actually reach up to like 120 power stars for now. So even then though, let's see what reward we can get. What? Another green one? Those are really rare. I'm just speechless. Wow, nice work. Looks like he has something he needs to talk to you about. Alright, I was able to talk to him just about right now. So even then though, because, well, it's very important to know what exactly is going on with those particular two green lumers as far as I can see right here. So let's see. Even if we have every power star, you still must defeat that monster. Alright, or else we'll never see the cosmic jewels. So this means we need to able to go back to Bowser's Galaxy Generator and fight against with Bowser, the final boss of the entire game again. Well, let's just do something completely different, because I'm actually going to take a break from Mario from now on until September. So even then though, we would able to actually switch out to Luigi. So even then though, for that particular knob right here, that could be something until later on though, specifically for like, well, I'm not going to explain things too much details about this though, as I said before. So either way though, let's get back into Bowser's Galaxy Generator for this time for Luigi. So even then though, like, I was gonna able to show off some alternate dialogue in between the first Bowser fight as well as the second Bowser fight with Luigi, but honestly it plays out exactly like how it did on the Mario's version, but specifically I'm gonna be showing off the Luigi's ending of this, because you know, much like the original game, I always attempt to able to show off the forms of both different endings. So even then, well, they share the exactly same dialogue, although the only difference is between Mario's and Luigi's is the fact that, well, obviously with Luigi's voice clips are included, and especially noticeable, some other characters managed to able to mention Luigi's name on certain text boxes. So even then, like for instance, Bowser will say that, and especially noticeable for Rosalina at the very end. So even then, if you really want to able to know what the ending is, well, again, I'm not going to explain things what did manage to happen, though, until at the very end, though. But either way, though, we're once again just trying to able to explore through Bowser's Galaxy Generator. In this case, the main final level in the game. Well, not exactly the true final level yet, but that'll be for later on, though, so to speak. But even then, let's draw for the actual ground. Now, as far as I remember correctly, back in 2016, mind you, that particular Let's Play is no longer with us anymore. But I remember that one thing I sort of not meant to do, and that was the fact that I've accidentally, whoa, what the hell? Luigi, what's going on with you? Did you see that right there? I always attempt to able to go ahead and slip off that specific edge of that specific, Tupia, segment here. But either way, though, we'll, cope with that, I think. Alright, so, yeah, because I remember that back in 2016, even though I said this before, that particular Let's Play is no longer with us at the moment, because, you know, with the bad quality, especially noticeable with, well, it's not so bad of a quality, per se, but it's more accurately the bad sound mixing issues, like the sound balancing is actually way unbalanced, like back in about 3 years ago. But every now and then, especially this is now 2019, it makes it so much more of the improvement over the likes of how it does it from last time. So even then though, that's, you know. So obviously you're still able to actually come across into exactly the same power-ups as to be expected for Luigi, even though the biggest difference is now, it doesn't really show off some notifications like every time you grab the power-up for the first time with Luigi. Like normally it does that in the original game though, but that was specifically for the second playthrough. But this time around though, for Super Mario Galaxy 2, it doesn't really matter if you either Mario or Luigi to begin with. Chances are your power-ups will be there until you're able to actually just to realize that once you activate it just once, the actual notification pops up. Then that way you would able to actually just, well, not get interrupted by notifications and stuff. So either way though, that's to be expected. So anyways though, aside from that though, for the actual, like, for the sake of the actual, like, other things worth mentioning though, there's not much else to say, because even then but then again, until September, it should be exciting, because imagine if, the next Nintendo Direct will be announced at some point during the next month, I would able to actually mention a lot of things, especially notable where until when we get to the second half of the game, we're able to actually start, jump right in. Because I'm pretty sure enough for the today's video. Sorry for a little bit of a tantrum right there, but either way though, this might actually conclude the first half of the game, because, well, after all, we got ourselves 120 power stars, of course, very similar to the forms of the original game. And oh no, my Yoshi! I guess that was probably my fault, because I was a little bit too hasty right here, so... But either way though, what we're gonna do this time, you notice with that particular trap right here? Well, I'm actually gonna be step off around here, and just be safe around here, and... boom, there we go. So that way we can be perfectly safe by that particular blockier monster. So even then though, that it's not too complicated if you managed able to know in what this is going. But either way though, we'll just trying to able to make ourselves moving forward a bit. So even then though, time to do some nice little nifty long jumps and just climb onto the pole. Now I think potentially speaking, this will actually be the final time. Well, it's not so the final time just yet though, until later on though, throughout the majority of this Let's Play, but still. But anyway, so let's go ahead and just ground pound these, and once again we would able to actually just to deal with all three of these, and sure enough we can able to actually meet up with Giant Bowser for, I would say this is actually the final time we're going to be doing with Giant Bowser in this game, because after when he's fully completely annihilated by either Mario or Luigi, then sure enough we're not going to see him again. So there he is right here for the second time so far. Well, at least the fourth time as it is. Oh, give it up already? Why don't you just stop trying to mess up my awesome master plan? I'm building my new galactic empire right here and you can't stop me. Why don't you just run off and go find some green pipe to hide in? And obviously, much like the original game, if you select Luigi, Peach will say something. So yeah, once again he says Luigi as his name, so yeah. Can't you see that I'm busy here? I don't have time to chat. Let's cut this shortly. So yeah, bring it on Bowser for the fourth time in a row, but this time we're going to be able to fight against with him as Luigi. So, obviously not much different around here, aside from like, well, we might be able to get ourselves a different ending compared to the forms of how it does it on the first ending, just like the forms of how it does in the original game. So at least even then though, there's about time to able to actually just, finish him off basically. So even then though, because this time around though, we're fighting against with him as Luigi. So then again, the only thing you need to worry about with Luigi though, and that was the factor with the actual slippery traction. So even then though, that's the only thing you need to worry about this kind of stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and... oh, what I missed! That was my first time I've actually able to miss my aiming skill shots for that specific, meteor rock at him. But luckily though, it actually just managed able to make it somewhat a little bit shorter. So at least as far as from that attack, I suppose. So anyways, let's go ahead and just deal with him for this first hit. And boom, he's pretty much done here. So, another thing I want to explain about this potentially, and that was the fact that, recently, about the fact that I'm pretty sad to say for Minecraft fans out there, is the fact that, with this Super Duper pack is about to be eventually coming out for the Nintendo Switch, I'm sad to say it's no longer going to happen, because unfortunately, seem to say, the Minecraft Super Duper pack is going to be cancelled. I have no idea why it's been cancelled like that, which I felt incredibly sorry for, despite the fact that I have not actually owned Minecraft before, but even then, I've heard of it though, but it's not my kind of thing either. But even then, luckily for Nintendo Switch owners, especially with the Wii U owners, they did at least manage to able to add in the Super Mario pack. So at least even then, that's the only interesting part for that for me. So anyways though, let's go ahead and just deal with the final two hits on Giant Bowser with once again these little meteor rocks that we can able to, knock him back into. So there again, not much else to really say apart from the fact that, well, that's the only stuff I just want to mention. So even then though, aside from that though, when it comes to like in Nintendo Switch Lite and all that stuff, well, mind you, we've only got about to ourselves a couple of days left until that particular system we're about to be releasing until then. But even then though, that's as far as I can say about it. And luckily though, much like the forms of how it does it on the original Nintendo Switch model is the fact that, you know, with the region lock system between any sort of gaming consoles, like for instance Nintendo Wii does have a region lock, and especially noticeable with the Wii U itself as well as the 3DS, because unlike the Nintendo DS, does manage to able to offer you a region-free system, which it did happen to me whenever I managed to play Okami Den recently for the Nintendo DS and stuff, which if you've been following through our Christmas 2018 unboxing video, then check it out. And of course, Bowser's not giving up yet. Hey, guess what, Luigi? Breathe a sigh of relief, because it'll be your last. Know why? Because this is finally the end. The end of you. Oh, you really think about what Luigi's Mansion 3 will be cancelled by then? I sure as hell no, because even though that game already launches until Halloween, until for the likes of this year, which I'm still excited for it. So even though, time to deal with the forms of the most, you know, pathetic final bosses in the entire game, but still pretty awesome at the same time with all this music glory. So even though, because, well, I'm very glad that music choice will be revisited again in both Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U as well as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because seriously, that music just rocks. Ugh, my power's gone, my empire shrinking, my huge cake never got a slice. Because, you know, Bowser, you're probably not going to get any rewards until then, so because of that, though, you once again managed to get defeated. But this time around, though, with the Green Man himself, which is, of course, Luigi. So, and once again, much like before, it was able to actually just give us, not only for this, nice pretty cutscene right here, by the way, something's worth mentioning, though, but also the already collected Grand Star, as well as Princess Peach. I still really wish how the fact that if Luigi can able to save Princess Daisy, but Daisy's nowhere to be seen around here, but oh well. It's just a mind of a coincidence anyway, though. I'm just a little bit more, not so much nitpicking, but I don't mind about it too much, because, you know, like the original game, they just always, like, share the exact same engine as the forms of how it does it on the first. But either way, though, before we grab the final Grand Star, in fact, this might actually be the final time we're going to be seeing the Grand Star, for the sake of the forms of the entire YouTube channel for ourselves. Like, for instance, we've already saw quite a few Grand Stars between the Mario's playthrough as well as the Luigi's playthrough, and even then that we've already just seen, I would say just only 6 of those Grand Stars as opposed to 7, than the likes of how it does in the original game, because, you know, they did at least manage to add in a prologue to the actual, that specific point in the first game, so, oh, it's so beautiful. And once again, we meet up with that particular comet around here, which appears to be Comet Observatory, and even then that, because this time around though, Luigi did manage to able to see that coming, so... But then again, that's, you know, PlayStation codes once again. Once again, folks, I do apologize for that specific sprite over there, or the actual lagginess involved in this footage, just because my capture card is being stupid again. So even though I just want to apologize for that, but I'm pretty sure enough, though, the actual dialogue remains exactly the same. So, Mama! I am Rosalina. I watch over and protect the cosmos. I've been waiting for all of you. Surely you do, Rosalina, you surely do. When that evil monster took our star power, I was separated from my precious little one. But I know we will see each other again. Because there is a force that bends us, defying even time and space. Or in this case, binds, rather. Not even the laws of the universe can stop it. I know its gentle pull would prevail. It was a desire to be reunited with someone who is important to you. That pull was brought us together.
Yes.
We have come through so much to meet again. This is not some more realm of the stars. I am sure of it. Luigi, thank you for returning this child to me. I will never forget you. Even when I someday become a star myself, I will never forget you, Luigi. never, ever, I won't forget. So much like in the forms of Mario's ending, he'll once again run off with the actual cap, but this time it's Luigi's cap this time. So even then though, to be expected, but even then I could wish if Mario Odyssey were able to have a Luigi as a playable character, which it did recently happen during the likes of a couple of months ago as a mod. So may the stars shine down on you. As the actual final quote for Rosalina around here, so even then though that's to be something else. And you know, you get the idea. So the little one was reunited with his special someone. You know, like Rosalina, for instance. And you too, pal. Am I right? Surely it will be, Lubba. It sure will be. Alright, you two. It's time to get you back to your home planet. Yep, surely will be. We'll be back at the Mushroom Kingdom for real. It's kind of weird how the fact that Luigi is going to be able to drive around with the actual Starship Mario, because, well, despite the fact that Mario's face was still a thing, but even then, I kind of wish if Luigi's face will be on here, but either way though, it's just the only time you were able to see Luigi's face planet was actually on the file selection screen, and that's about it basically, which, to me, I don't mind about it too much, but even then though, nothing else changed about the forms of the staff credits for the second time, because apart from the fact that it plays exactly the same, although there might be some slight differences that we might actually just be able to come across if we manage to able to actually see it once we go for the staff credit sequence. And I will still say, the music is super beautiful, especially notable how the fact that once again this game does it so much more excellent, or especially beautiful, orchestrated, especially noticeable because, you know, this game has, you know, once again been done by the orchestra music, much like the original game. So even then, at least I'm very glad that was the case. So even then though, I'm not going to give my final thoughts of it just yet though, because then again, I'll mention more on that at the very end of this video. So even then though, that once again, we can't able to actually shake the Wiimotes to able to perform the spin jump or spin attack, because you know the Master Young Luma was now back into its return home, which is to be more specifically for Rosalina herself. So at least it's pretty obvious for that point right there, because either way though, that you know, he has now finally got his own home now. Well, at least it's from some of these little agreements, I suppose. So anyways though, if we manage to able to actually finish off that page right there, if we come towards for this particular section, this time we have ourselves the B mushroom on that specific staff credit. However though, there's one thing in my actually pointing out right away. Some people seem to manage to accidentally come across into the actual game over screen in the actual staff credit sequence, which is kind of hilarious to able to see for that particular game over glitch on that particular staff credit sequence, but it might be pretty difficult to pull off because you have to like super dang accurate when it comes to like the fly meter and stuff. But even then, I'm not going to do that because otherwise it will crash the game, and plus if I manage to able to crash my game, well, I need to go for that particular stuff again. So even then, that will be no good if I manage to able to pull that off. So, but whatever, but we still have ourselves a Yoshi's egg at least, so even then that if you manage to able to jump onto the actual egg, and if you hop onto Yoshi, you'll be once again disabled that specific power-up, just like the earforms of the Cloud Flower. I think the only power-ups that doesn't make you able to actually disabled when it comes to like riding on Yoshi, it was on Fire Flower, because, well, normally we didn't see both Yoshi and Fire Flower at the same time, as well as the forms of the Rock Mushroom, and let's not forget to mention about the forms of Boo Mario, or Boo Luigi I should say. But either way though, that's as far as I can mostly describe it for it. So even then though, yeah, once again Bowser's got shrink into its mini size. So take that, Bowser, take that, after when you deserve for able to kidnapping Princess Peach all the goddamn time. I mean, what's the matter with you? I mean, surely in Super Mario 3D World, you at least managed able to kidnap somebody else, like, specifically sprinkly princesses and all that stuff. But that was some sort of a different treatment around here. But, oh well, let's just find out until when the next 3D Mario game will able to actually make him a little bit of a better plan of all things, but I'm not exactly sure. But either way though, take that. I'm gonna stomp all that any day. So anyways though, here we go to the last scene right here. Still, Shiwata Hiwata, that it still says on here, which is pretty sad to say because, well, he sadly passed away during the likes of him 4 years ago. But even then though, specifically for Japan. So, anyways, when you reach all the way up, this basically means is the fact that the actual comet is now orange, green, sorry, instead of the actual blue. So yeah.
Thank you for playing my game.
So I wonder what that particular green comment is for. Well, we'll also find out after this particular last cutscene of the actual game. Is this a book for this whole entire time? Or the storybook? Interesting. Ah, good. Everyone's together now. Next, let's hear a story about the jewels of the cosmos. Let me tell you the story of the green stars. I'd love to hear that. This is a story from long, long ago. Because as soon as that scene ends, we have ourselves Prankster Comets have appeared, but in green text. Meaning, welcome to the second half of the game, meaning there's gonna be some green stars to collect. So join me until September, until the forms of next time on Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy 2, is that we're about to be able to collect something that's really fun to do. That's green stars grinding. So see you guys until September. Later fellas, I'm really excited about that.